Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news here for you. And the headline of the news reads, Imolites hope heighten as Emeka Ihiedioha takes drastic action over Supreme Court verdict. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we would like to encourage you to please subscribe to the channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube. All right, let's look at the news in detail.
Okay, let's see the news in detail. The last may not have been heard about the contest for the Imo State governorship seat as Emeka Ihiedioha returns to the Supreme Court today to seek a review of the judgment that removed him from the office. The court had on January 14, 2020 sacked Ihiedioha of the People's Democratic Party on the grounds that he did not score the lawful majority vote in the March 9, 2019 governorship election. In his place, the Apex Court, after adding a cancelled results of the 388 polling unit to the votes called by Senator Uzodinma of the All Progressive Congress, ordered that he be immediately sworn in as the duly elected governor. While sympathizers with their lordship over their heavy workload and short period of time within which to read briefs and give judgment, the coalition said such constraints would have led to the faulty judgment. To err is human, they said. That's the organization said. That civil organization said, it will be practically impossible for any human to have read briefs and record of proceedings exceeding 5,000 pages in a matter within 2 hours after hearing, when he also had pressure of time to deliver judgment in the remaining pending governorship appeals. No doubt this accounts for the mistakes made by the Apex Court. The Supreme Court is supreme and can creatively reinvest its rules to do justice. It is necessary to do so now more than ever to save the Nigerian democracy, constitutionalism, and retrieve the judicial and justice system from its present opprobrium, and the group said. An Abuja-based legal practitioner, Godwin Amagon, is of the view that the addition by the Supreme Court to Uzodinma's vote made the total number of votes to exceed the total number of accredited voters in violation of the Section 53 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, particularly Section 8 subsection B of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) guidelines for the 2019 election. The Supreme Court cannot accept results without certification. This violates Section 89E and F and 90 subsection C of the Evidence Act 2011, which states that all public documents must be certified before it can be tendered in evidence. Amagu said the results from the disputed 388 polling units were neither certified by INEC, who are the issuers of the document, nor the police, in whose custody they claimed the document emanated from. Otome Adamidenyo, another lawyer based in Warri Delta State and country director of the Citizens' Rights Initiative, said the verdict fell short of the basic legal indices for measuring a fair and unbiased judgment. He said to have allowed the police officer to tender documents which he was not there or the author and which served as the foundation upon which the very case stood defeated the fundamental principles of admissibility of documents. The head legal unit of the Civil Liberties Organization, CLO, Prince Will Akpakpan, said, given the emerging fact arising from the Supreme Court judgment in the gubernatorial election in Imo State, the CLO, which is the Civil Liberties Organization, is of the view that the request for the review of the case is necessary. He noted that this would enable the court to look at all facts to determine whether there were facts that were not at its disposal or the decision was reached by incorum. Akpakpan maintained that the review would also make the aggrieved parties and the general public to see that justice has been done, even if the court might still reach the same conclusion in the case. The review, though I am not sure of the particular rule the PDP may be coming under, will give the opportunity for the court to restore what the public sees as a lost confidence in the case, he said. Already, Ihiedioha and his legal team have approached the Supreme Court seeking a review of their judgment, he said.
All right. Thank you very much. This is quite interesting. There had been a lot of public outcry from different quarters. Many people have been talking directly to Emeka Ihiedioha, demanding that he should ask for a review of the judicial precedent, that review of the decision of the Supreme Court, since it was not accurate as expected. Mathematically, when Nigerians sum it up, there were a lot of errors in it, and also for the fact that it has not been fully validated by the authorities concerned, as authorities in charge of electoral process. It cannot be taken as an evidence in the Supreme Court. All right, but before we go on with further discussion, we'd like to look at some of the comments of Nigerians in respect to this bold step taken by Emeka Ihiedioha. And this one says, this judgment is a failure of justice, have to be reversed. Another one here said, Emeka Ihiedioha needs to be punished like Atiku was punished. He needs to waste money on legal battles. Okorocha be laughing from a distance. Ihiedioha lawyer will make good money from him, and I hope they invest it well. It looks funny, but I can assure you this is not a funny issue. You can look at it and feel it's been trivialized until when such judgment is meted out to you, or someone closer to you, or someone very dear to your heart. I don't know if this is the same word this person will be saying. All right, the next person says here, for those that think it's impossible, let me brief you with history. In 2006 to 2007, Andy Uba won at the Supreme Court against Peter Obi as governor, but Peter Obi seek review and capitalized on some flaws in the judgment, and the judgment was overturned to his favor. Not only that he claimed his mandate, he made the Supreme Court ban any election in Anambra till his first term completes. That was what brought about change in election timetable in Anambra, though I doubt if this sick, illiterate Sharia judge will allow justice to prevail. But the verdict that gave Uzodinma the seat is filled with self-indicted flaws that will so damage the reputation of the judiciary in the future, because senior advocates of Nigeria will be making reference to the flawed judgment in the future. All Ihiedioha needs to do is to hire some competent lawyers, not those togos he worked with. He really got a strong case only if the Supreme Court will allow justice to prevail. Another one here says, the court has count its teeth, it will bite again. When you stumble, you rise again. But no, there is always a stone after a stone. And this person says, a judgment that cannot be used in future precedents is that one, a judgment. The fact that the panel that delivered this judgment was led by the CGN himself pain me more. There is a Supreme Court judgment saying Nwosu represents two parties, thereby disqualifying him. It means APC didn't fulfill the requirement consideration to contest in that election, thereby they didn't partake in that election. In another twist, Uzodinma came second to the last in the primary election that recognized Nwosu as APC candidate. The person that came second behind Nwosu should be the beneficiary of the judgment. Our dear CGN is whack, I swear. There are a lot of responses from Nigerians, and it's really, really much. Now, let's look at the possibilities. One of the things that is what is worth trying, I think, is worth trying well. And I think that this guy should forget about the fact that money is going to be spent. I'm talking about Emeka Ihiedioha. he should forget about the fact that he's going to spend a lot of money to see how he can secure back his mandate, but should go ahead with it. I believe that if the justices and those who are, for example, NBA, Nigerian Bar Association, if they sit back together and take a retrospect into some of the things that we are seeing right now in the judiciary, I think that they should do some, visiting to some of those justices, especially the likes of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. They should visit him to tell him the implication of that, because from all indication, I think that it goes beyond the shores of just mistake. Maybe there are some other things which Nigerians are yet to fully ascertain, because I can't imagine that such thing had happened. We've discussed this overly, and it's important for people to come to the realization of the fact that when issues like this kind come up, it must be redressed, it must be handled in a manner where we can get the right thing done, because sitting back and just continuing protests and all of that will not really fix it. Suggestion has come out. Okay, imagine one of our commentators, that's one of the Nigerians who commented on it, clearly stated the case of Peter Obi, where he was clearly won. No, he was won in this Supreme Court, and they kicked him out. But he had to seek redress. He had to call for a review of the judgment, clearly stating. That's why it's very important right now that he should get the services of well-qualified judges who will do justice to this. But at the same time, as much as we believe that if he goes ahead, he may get the right thing done by the Supreme Court, but a lot of fears are lingering, and one of those fears is the fact that if this thing does not have a political undertone, that's where the main fear is. And two, let it not be that it was the handiwork of the APC, because that's where a lot of Nigerians are queuing behind. That's one of the suggestion that they are brought up. Many people believe that all of this is not just the handiwork of the CGN, that for this purpose, just like the way Mordecai said unto Esther, he said, for this time, you may not know, maybe it was for this time that the Lord kept you here. I think that's the case with the CGN. The reason why Onogen was kicked out of that position was the fact that they needed somebody who will get to understand the plan of the ruling party and flow with it. So that's the fear. But outside that, I think that the justices will sit back by themselves and review what is what their verdict was, and also see how they can handle it, so that at the end of the day, the judicial president will be highly respected and will be referred to.
Well, if this was done in a Senate claim, I would have said it's a go-go, it's a win-win. Emeka Ihiedioha should fire on all arsenal, go ahead and take back what was rightfully his before this mago adding of figures. Because if the figures were accurate, why not if not? But since the figures can't even jive, they're not adding up, that means it's not correct. And even INEC themselves they've come out and debunked the fact that thing that they used as a verified result is not from them, it's not emanating from them. So that also debunks whatever it is they're using to stand on. But that is on the Senate claim. We are in Nigeria. This is Nigeria. This is what is obtainable in Nigeria. The truth is, does Ihiedioha have the right to select the judges that will run the case? No. Now, will it still be Alhaji Tanko that will still run this case? We have no idea. Will it still be the presidency that will tactically handpick the judges, the 7 or 5 man judge or whatever panel number of panel of judges that will be there? Would it still be the executive or the presidency that will handpick the people who put the verdict? We don't still know. It could be the presidency, but even though they will not front it that is the presidency. But the truth be told, if Ihiedioha backs himself, surrounds himself with the legal team that knows their onions, it will be very difficult for the judges to pass a verdict without embarrassing themselves if it's a false verdict. Because if they know their onions and back it up with law, whereas INEC have said that the results that Uzodinma is standing on was not backed by them. That's a stronghold. And whereas also that the collated results are not jiving, both accredited and registered, they are not, they are not rhyming. Those are strong in the indices. So it takes good legal team, okay? And even if it's handpicked, he has a case. But I fear that if it's handpicked, by the time they will bring, they say overruled, uphold, all those overruled English that usually stay in the court room may not, hold water. And I fear that the verdict that fell before as Alhaji Atiku will also may likely follow Emeka Ihiedioha. But it's worth trying. Who knows? He may get back his mandate.
All right, thank you very much. This thing right now is not that they are going to force the Supreme Court judges to, handle this case. It's going to be a plea on their part and seeking for a review. And if they still maintain their position that what they did was perfect, there's nothing anyone will do. So even as it's seeking to get good lawyers who are going to stand in and write the reasons for the review, we should also meet a good man of God who will also pray for God to favor him so that the whole thing